protecting yourself from yourself is it's the thing that every trader has to do when they come in the market, because they come in blind to the things that make them lose their trades. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, first things first, who are you, right? And this is what I mean by who are you. What are the things about you that you must become mindful of? What are the things that you need to know about yourself? And I'm going to go right into it right away. What are the things that you need to know about yourself that when you come to trading, or that you notice in your trading, are tripping you up? Let's go take some of them. Okay, the truth about you is super important, right? Personality traits that you need to know. Are you a hyper person? Are you someone who uh can't sit around very long? And if that's the case, then you're going to have to become a scalper if you want to trade, because swing trading and day trading is not going to be for you if you're someone who is hyper. Or there's got to be a way for you to lower your hyperness. But like I was sharing with somebody just last week, it's easier to develop a strategy around your personality than to change your personality. That takes a long time, if ever, right? Because you can adapt and change to your, like, for example, I, I can't really say I'm a people person. I can't say that I'm a people person, because when I'm around a person that's a people person, my gosh, it's so obvious. My wife is a people person, right? She draws immense energy from people. I mean, it's unending, never ending. She could be around people forever. My energy for people is finite. I only have so much. I enjoy being around people, but I only have so much energy. And so when I'm with people, they draw energy out of me, right? They're not giving me energy. They draw energy out of me. Now, because of business, because of study, because of psychology, because of everything else, I have learned how to adapt in my personality so that when I'm with people, I'm focused on them. I'm giving them all the attention that they need. And my focus is on asking them questions, finding out how they're doing, how can I help them? I am very focused on making it about them. And so when we part ways, they love it, right? They enjoy their time with Robert. They really had a great time. They think Robert is this great dude, and they don't know that I'm on my way going home completely exhausted. I'm spent. You know, I'm completely spent because I'm an introvert. By nature, I'm an introvert. And so you wouldn't think that, right? I preach. I'm a preacher. I'm a speaker. I'm an educator. I actually spend quite a bit of time talking to people in public and whatever. But I'm an introvert. I've learned to adapt to the needs of the people, and I've learned to adapt to the needs of the situation. And so I've learned tools on how to help people. But that doesn't mean that I'm an outgoing person. We're not going to change that as much as we're going to learn how to adapt to how you are in the market. Okay. And so if you're a hyper person, we're going to come up with a strategy and a plan and some rules that will help you make money, even though you're a hyper person. Okay. Let's keep going. Are you laid back? If you're laid back, you're probably going to miss out on opportunities, right? You're not the person that gets in too quickly into a trade. You're the kind of person that gets in the trade too late, right? Because you're kind of like you let things come to you, which is a great thing in trading, but it comes to the moment where you have to act, and perhaps you're not going to act. And so we need to devise a plan to get you active at the moment that you're ready, that you should be getting active. Okay. Are you competitive? This is me, right? Competitive people can be great traders. However, they have this one flaw that is probably going to cap their knees every time until they figure it out. Competitive people don't want to lose. Competitive people see losing in trading as if, you just kicked their puppy or something. I mean, they they take it like life has lost its meaning if they can't overpower whatever it is. You're not going to overpower the markets. You can't force the market to give you what it's not ready to give you. Okay. We come to the market every day, and today the market is going to give to us. We take it. We come to the market today. Today the market is going to take away from us. We only give it what we're willing to give it. We can't fight it and tell us, give me money today. Can't do that. The competitor wants to. The alpha, male or female, wants to force the thing to pay them today. It's not going to work. Okay. And so we need to adapt. Okay. It's not a bad thing to be competitive. It's very good. It has helped you in all the other areas of your life, right? When it comes to trading, it can really hurt you if we don't adapt. Okay, let's keep going. Are you an analytical person? If you're an analytical person, you can probably analyze the charts very, very well. Your challenge is going to be, okay, now that you have analyzed the charts very well, it's time to get into the trade. And it may be you may run into a problem of wanting things to be so perfect that you miss out. You have you have 1 and 2 confirmations, and from back testing, that 1 or 2 confirmations with this strategy is all you need. So if I have 2 confirmations, right, in my strategy, in my psychology, in my back testing that pays me so much, then the moment that I don't enter, when I have my second confirmation, I have overthought it. I'm overthinking it now. My analytical mind is keeping me from taking the trade. Okay. And so you may create beautiful charts. You may have your lines just right and everything else. And you can see, oh, if it does this, it does that. If it does this. But when it comes time to entering the trade, that analytical mind may keep you from actually entering the trade. And so we need to adapt. All right. Are you patient or are you impulsive? If you are a patient person, that's a plus, right? If you are a patient person, generally speaking, like if you can hold your tongue when somebody insults you, or and not because you're afraid, but because you're just being patient, right? You're just holding your tongue, letting the person speak, letting them vent or whatever. If you are a patient person, that's an asset that will help you here in your trading. If you are impulsive, that can hurt you. That will hurt you here. It's like the hyper person, okay? So it's important to know what are your personality traits, and hopefully you can identify yourself with one of these. Let's keep going. So does this sound familiar, okay? You find yourself pressing buy, sell before fully analyzing the chart. Who can say they're guilty of that? I've done that, right? I've done that. I used to do that a whole lot. I don't do that as much. You see the setup, it's not fully formed, but you jump in. I've done that, right? I've done that. See the setup, not fully formed, but you jump in. You just want to get in early, because if you can get in early, then you can get more pips. It's what you're thinking. But the truth of the matter is that if the breakout hasn't happened, the setup is not there. If the retest hasn't happened, the setup is not there. If price hasn't reached supply yet or demand, the setup is not there. If the 4-hour candle trade setup calls for, like for example, today, the 4-hour candle closed bullish, right? If you didn't wait for the break of the bullish candle and you were on the buys, then what were you doing? It didn't break it, right? So again, it's not ready yet, but you jump in. You spend lots of time analyzing a pair, but then trade something else. Oh my gosh, that used to be me. So bad. So bad. I used to set up, for example, GU or GJ, and then trade GA or trade gold. Well, why would I be doing that? I didn't analyze those charts. Okay, I'm just seeing the movement of the price, and I'm thinking, oh, there it goes, and I'm like, I'm being hypnotized, right, by the move of the candles instead of just focusing on my analysis. Okay, you don't pull the trigger when you know you should, but now that it's 20 pips out, you go in. Yeah, and then you wonder. Okay, you take a trade, you win, you go back immediately and lose more than you won. I'm guilty of all of these, guys. I mean, I've done them all. I think I've probably eliminated. Well, I'm going to go through them all, and then I'll tell you. You win during the London session, only to lose during the New York. Did that. You win, then you lose once and wipe out all your profits. Done that. Bottom line, you have a plan, but you don't follow it. And that is the thing, right? You have a plan. Don't you have a plan to avoid all these things? Right? We have a plan to avoid all of this, but we don't follow it. So what's the point of having the plan? You know that having a plan, even having it written, even having it in front of you, means nothing if you don't follow it. You know? I mean, I've done all these. Let me see. I think I've eliminated, let me see, just to be completely honest. I've eliminated that. I've eliminated that. I eliminated that. I don't do that. Don't do that anymore. This, I do this sometimes. I see this, I do this sometimes still. Okay. I don't do that anymore. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Of the 7, I sometimes still struggle with. You see the setup is not fully formed, but you jump in. Okay, that one is something that I've not yet perfected. Let's put it that way. Okay, it usually turns out okay because usually the analysis is good, but sometimes I can get in trouble, and then what I end up doing is I'm gonna end up with a small loser or a loser, but it's not horrible that it damages me. But if I have too many of those, then I'm going to spend 2 or 3 days trying to catch up. Okay. So the point of all this is if you have a plan or if you spend time developing a plan, you got to follow it, right? We got to follow it. But why are we not following it, right? Why are we not following it? And so why is that? Because we all suffer from the chimp. Remember that book I posted on the community, the Chimp Paradox? The chimp is your subconscious, right? And your subconscious is what really runs your life. And you are happy that your subconscious runs your life because your subconscious is what helps you breathe. It's what keeps your cells regenerating. It's what makes sure that your lungs are working, your liver is working, all your organs are working, your heart is beating. You know, when you're sleeping, it doesn't stop, you don't stop breathing, you know. All of that is your subconscious, right? It's running all the time, 24 hours a day. Well, that chimp, you know, was formed, was developed. When you were born, you were a blank slate, right? You had some tendencies. You did have some personality traits. This I can testify that is true. First of all, because it's been tested, okay? People actually are born with personality traits, with their own plant in life. They're born that way. When I learned about that, I observed it in my little girls, and I could tell you what their personalities was because I studied it, I learned it, and I watched them, right? And they're obvious, right? But your personality and who you are and how you view the world gets shaped by your dad, by your mom, your pastors, your leaders, anybody who has influence on your life. It's imprinting in your subconscious how life should be. That becomes your chimp. And anything outside of that is dangerous, right? Because anything outside of that is an unknown. And anything that is unknown can cause you harm. And since anything that's unknown can cause you harm, the chimp is going to keep you away from it. All right. Now, according to the Chimp Paradox, the author in that book says it awesome. He says you have 3 brains, right? You have the human brain, which is your reasonable brain. You have the computer, which is really all around the entire brain. And then you have the chimp that's back here. And the chimp is, your primal brain, right? Whenever you experience something in life, whatever it is, immediately your chimp goes to check. Both your human and your chimp go to the computer to see if you have any prior history with what you're experiencing now. And this happens in milliseconds. It goes in to check to see what's okay. Did we deal with this before? Yeah. How did we deal with it before? Is this a danger or is this not a danger? No, it's not a danger. Okay. If it's not a danger and your chimp interprets it as not a danger, then you are okay. It's not going to react. It's not going to flood your body with cortisol and adrenaline, right? You're going to be nice and cool. Okay. If your reason thinks that there is danger or that it could be a problem, you assess, you analyze, and you come up with a solution. And that's all good. So far, you can still trade with that mind. But if your mind thinks everything is okay, but your chimp senses danger, you're cooked. Like within within seconds. Or I should say it this way, you are about to be cooked if you don't do certain things. You're about to be unable to trade, and it's better for you to walk away. If you've ever been in a state of hyper excitement, you know how you can't think. I once went to take a calculus exam, and I had just this is high school, right? I went to take a calculus exam, and I came straight from the basketball court where I was running full speed. We had a very intense game, and I ran. I was late to the exam. I ran to the exam, sat on the desk, and I could not think. Now, all that it's in this paper, I know. I've studied it. I know, and I'm good with numbers. I know all of it. I my heart rate is so accelerated, and my body is still running the adrenalines and the cortisol of working out, of being out there, that I can't concentrate. It took me, I'm gonna say, it got to be at least 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, to where I caught my breath, my heart rate came down, and once though that flood of chemicals that was running through my body settled down, boom, I could think again. I got the exam, I aced it, no problem. Okay. But that's how the chimp works. The chimp floods your brain and your body with these chemicals because you is trying to keep you safe. That thing is the most dangerous thing to your trading. It will wreck your trading. It is wrecking your trading right now. Okay, let's keep going. So, what is it? It's an inner voice which seeks to keep us safe when it perceives threat. I already told you that, right? And here's the thing. Okay, so this in conjunction with personality and prior experiences can cause us to behave in self-defeating ways. And why is it cause us to behave in self-defeating ways? It defeats us because it thinks it's in danger. And so if it thinks it's in danger, what's it going to do? If you're in a losing trade, it's going to tell you not to get out, because if you get out, you're going to lose, right? And you keep losing and losing and losing and losing more. If you're winning, it says, okay, get out quickly, get 3 or 4 pips. Why? Because if you take those 3 or 4 pips, now you're out of the threat, right? Or it freezes you. You don't do anything. Why? Because as long as you don't get in, you can't lose, right? All of that is the chimp. You got to train that chimp, okay? The chimp interprets risk as a threat. This, unfortunately, is the truth. When your chimp interprets risk on your trading, it escalates things to the point that you can't trade anymore. You might as well close your laptop, okay? Any perception of danger would trigger the chimp into action, okay? So how do we tame it? Okay, recognize your current state of mind, become mindful. When we're not mindful, that monkey, that chimp is just carrying us through life like we don't even know why things are happening to us. When we stop and we become mindful as to and start thinking and meditating on what are the circumstances in my life that are causing me this, this, and this, and that, all of a sudden, that monster that was in the closet flees because you're facing it. And it doesn't like to be confronted. Okay. Create a safe environment for trading. Okay. No distractions. Do not risk more than you can handle. Risk management, right? If you put in a lot size that's too big and price starts moving against you, you're going to alert the chimp to wake up, right? It's going to wake up. It's going to say, hey, I don't like this. It's not good. Your money's flying out the window. And so it's going to trip you up. Okay. So don't over risk. Set clearly defined rules and be very specific. These rules, if you have written the rules, your chimp will approve the rules, right? Because it likes rules. It likes to know what the parameters of things are. Anything outside of these parameters, then it begins to understand, okay, this is not good. But you got to give it to it. You got to tell your subconscious, okay, this is what's acceptable. It's just like building muscle by running or whatever. Let's say you're not accustomed to running and you go run a mile. Well, within 10 minutes, well, less than that, right? Less than that, your subconscious is going to say, stop this. This is hurting us. And it does everything for you to stop, right? But once you do that over and over and over and over and over, it adapts. It's like, what, a mile? This is nothing. Let's go for 2. I mean, that's how it is. So give itself very specific rules. And Breathe. This must be practiced. Diaphragmatic breathing. Breathing and meditation is going to be the next one. Okay. These must be practiced. You can't just come and try to do this when you're trading. But what you want to do is do breathing exercises and meditation to make yourself present, make yourself mindful, being aware. Okay. Once you have practiced that and you come here to a trade and you're about to enter a trade, or you enter into a trade, Jalen, this would be a great example. You enter into a trade and your heart rate is going a little too much, right? Because it's about to hit your stop loss, about to hit your stop loss. What you learn is you take those deep breaths, right? The oxygen hits the brain. When the oxygen hits the brain understands that you're not in danger. Okay? Because when you are in danger, what happens? Oxygen goes away from your brain and goes to your extremities. You're about to fight. You're about to run, right? So it goes to your extremities. Oxygen just goes to your extremities. When you take those deep breaths, diaphragmatic breaths that starts in your tummy and expands to your chest, and you hold it for a couple of seconds, and then you release it slowly. Slowly. It slows your heart rate. Oxygen hits your brain. If oxygen is in your brain, you're not in danger. Okay? That's how your monkey interprets it. So it may take you a few breaths. You gain composure. You gain your composure. Have you heard me say this before? If you see a professional athlete performing a task, a gymnast, a baseball player, a tennis player, any of them, basketball player, he's at the free throw line. He's about to throw the free throw. The first thing he does is takes a deep breath, releases it, takes all the tension away. Think about it. Same thing here. And you're going to have to practice that and practice that and practice it until it becomes natural for you to do it. Does that make sense? Most people shallow breathe and they don't know that they're doing it. And I remember when I started doing these breathing exercises. And by the way, this is not a religious thing. While Buddhists have been doing it for a long time, the truth of the matter is that if we go back, for those of us who are Christians, if we go back into our Judaism, they meditated. Jesus told us about meditation. The scriptures are supposed to be meditated. So this it's not really about a religious thing, but like Randy was telling me, from the Jewish, the word Yahweh is actually, it has no consonants, and actually it's the same. It's the that name, the void of vowels, is actually the breathing sound, the exhaling and inhaling. Isn't that amazing? So for those of us who are religious, to me that was incredible, because what that means is that every time that we take a breath, we are saying the name of God, devoid of all that. Okay, it's just simply filling your body cells with oxygen, which they need to live. And again, like I was saying, most of us, because of PTSD or who knows what life experiences, most of us breathe shallow. I was one of those that breathed shallow. And when I started trying to breathe deeply, I couldn't. When I started trying to take those deep breaths, I couldn't. My breath always stopped short, and like it didn't fill my lungs. And through the months, I feel how that just keeps opening more and more and more and more, because of the practices. So he does this continually throughout the day to make himself present, to bring himself to here and now. Because again, what our mind tends to do when we let it to his own devices is it tries to relive the past. Why is it reliving the past? It's trying to relive the past to help it avoid present or future dangers, right? Because that's the mind always trying to keep you safe. When you take the time to breathe and you make yourself present, you're here and now. Those things are long gone. You're here and now, and none of that has to affect you today if you don't let it. Always be a student of yourself. Read, listen, watch, attend, associate. These are all tools that you can use to grow in awareness. Get yourself around people who have dedicated to life to studying and writing and presenting on being mindful, and it will help you because if you are consistently doing trades, consistently doing things in the market, pressing the mouse or whatever that you know you shouldn't do, then who's doing that? If you don't want to do it, then who's doing that? Okay, I'll tell you, the chimp is doing that because it's trying to keep you safe or keep you within the norm or keeps you within what it knows. I think that's it. Esto se acabó.